It has already been over 2 years since Game of Thrones concluded with its 8th season. The series finale caused a lot of debate among fans and critics alike, and some were not wholly satisfied. Still, the producers want to make up for it. The first spin-off series will finally be released next year. With House of the Dragon, the Targaryens' golden age in Westeros will be highlighted. Find out exactly when the series will take place and what we can already reveal about the plot in this video. But how did the prequel actually come about? Originally, a completely different series called Blood Moon was being planned. The pilot episode had already been shot and the plot was promising. It was supposed to be about the Age of Heroes and the first battle against the White Walkers. It was the time when the great house of the Starks and Lannisters were founded and took place about 8,000 years before the action of the main series. However, the executives of HBO were far from satisfied with the pilot. According to insider reports, they were concerned that the series might scare off longtime fans, which is precisely the group they wanted to win back after all. Thus, the series was officially cancelled and House of the Dragon was promptly introduced. The story about the Dance of the Dragons is less enchanting and more about politics and scheming, just as in the first successful seasons of Game of Thrones. 10 episodes were directly confirmed without seeing a pilot episode. Now, before we talk about the eagerly anticipated plot, we need to take a closer look at the cast, as it is through them that we can deduce the events from the centuries-old story. As the reigning king in House of the Dragon, Paddy Considine takes the role of Viserys. Viserys Targaryen, the first of his name, was considered a kind and loving king who was highly respected by the common people. He was also the last rider of the dragon Balerion, on whose back Aegon the Conqueror took the Seven Kingdoms. Viserys had 7 descendants who will also play a major role. Considine is already well versed in medieval intrigue, having played Banquo in the 2015 Hollywood film Macbeth. One of the main roles in the series will be occupied by Princess Rhaenyra Targaryen. She was the firstborn of the king and of pure Valyrian blood. She liked to dress herself like the warrior queen Visenya Targaryen, the wife of Aegon the Conqueror. Plus, she was a dragon rider herself, specifically that of the she-dragon Syrax. In the series, Rhaenyra is embodied by Emma Darcy. Up to now, she has mostly played small roles. House of the Dragon could thus be her breakthrough in the world of acting. Alicent Hightower, the second wife of King Viserys, also has an important role to play. She was the daughter of Otto Hightower, who was the hand of a total of 3 rulers. She grew up in the Red Keep and was considered the most beautiful woman in the Seven Kingdoms. At the age of 18, she married the king, to whom she gave 4 children. Alicent is played by Olivia Cooke. She is best known from the drama Sound of Metal, the blockbuster Ready Player One, and the series Bates Motel. Prince Daemon Targaryen was the younger brother of Viserys. Unlike his sibling, he was not known for his easygoing and cheerful nature, but more for his swordsmanship. He was one of the greatest heroes of his time and wielded the longsword Dark Sister, which of course was made of Valyrian steel. After 2 marriages without a son, he finally entered into marriage with his niece Princess Rhaenyra. Together, they had 2 sons, Aegon III and Viserys II. Daemon is played by Matt Smith. He's surely known to many of us as Doctor Who, and of course Prince Philip in the series The Crown. Otto Hightower, the Hand of the King, was a loyal supporter of the kingdom. He served a total of 3 kings as hand, although 2 of them dismissed him. As the father of Alicent Hightower, he joined her in trying to assert his grandson's claim to the throne, which eventually led to his deposition. He saw Prince Daemon Targaryen as his greatest rival as well as a threat to the kingdom. It was not only his wild, warlike nature that displeased the Hand. Rumor has it that he also deflowered his daughter. Otto is played by Rhys Ifans, who most of you know as the father of Luna Lovegood from Harry Potter. Corlys Velaryon, also known as the Sea Snake, will feature in the series as well. House Velaryon originated in ancient Valyria and settled in the Seven Kingdoms as a feudal house of the Targaryens. Corlys, for his part, went down in the history of Westeros as the most famous navigator ever. He is said to have led his house to such wealth that they possessed even more gold than the Lannisters. Moreover, he is believed to have been in command of the largest fleet of all time. He was the husband of Rhaenys Targaryen, who was known among the common people as the Queen Who Never Was. Corlys is played by Steve Toussaint. He's known from the video game adaptation Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Rhaenys Velaryon, the wife of Corlys, is also likely to be seen often. The queen who never was simply passed over by the Great Council when it came to choosing a successor to the Iron Throne, since the council did not want a woman to be in charge of the Seven Kingdoms. She was the rider of the dragon Meleys and a feared warrior. In the series, she's played by Eve Best. The British actress was last seen in the Netflix production Fate: The Winx Saga. What would a Game of Thrones series be without people from the Free Cities pulling the strings behind the scenes? In House of the Dragon, that's Mysaria. The beautiful dancer from Lys was sold from one slave trader to the next until she finally ended up in a brothel in King's Landing. It was there that Daemon Targaryen took notice of her and made her his mistress. Sonoya Mizuno will be playing the role of Mysaria. Finally, there's Sir Criston Cole. He was the simple son of the steward of House Dondarrion. He became known for his sword skills, rising to the rank of Lord Commander of the King's Guard. Fabian Frankel, who recently appeared in the Netflix production The Serpent, will take on the role of Cole. Finally, let's move on to the plot. Here, the new series has a decisive advantage over its forerunner. The story has already been concluded. Needless to say, we won't reveal the entire story, we will only briefly cover it. As we can tell from the characters, the series takes place about 150 years prior to the events of the original series. This means that the happenings surrounding Aegon the Conqueror will at most be shown in flashbacks. The story of the Dance of the Dragons will be narrated. This describes the civil war between the two opposing parties from the House of Targaryen. On the one side is Alicent Hightower, who wants to see her son Aegon II succeed to the throne after Viserys' death. On the other side is Rhaenyra Targaryen, the firstborn child of the late king, who would be the heiress according to the official succession. This gives rise to two parties which call themselves the Greens and the Black Council. This civil war will go down in the history of Westeros as one of the bloodiest to which most dragons will succumb. The first season will probably tell the power political prehistory to the Dance of the Dragons. For as you may have noticed, an important cast has not yet been announced, that of Aegon II. Also, the show is not supposed to be as brutal as the original series. This is mainly due to the public criticism of the downplayed sexual violence against women in Game of Thrones. Whether the prequel will match the quality of the old episodes remains to be seen. After all, the show took 8 seasons to develop complex characters. However, the creators have shown with Season 8 that they can also end the series in a flash. Filming on House of the Dragon has meanwhile begun at Levinson Studios in London as opposed to Northern Ireland and Croatia, as was the case with the previous series. The plan is to finish post-production by the end of the year. Of course, George R.R. Martin is again present as a consultant. However, it is doubtful whether he will be able to devote much time to the project. After all, he also wishes to finish the story of A Song of Ice and Fire in his own words. Ryan Condal, who previously worked on Hercules and on Rampage, was signed on as a showrunner. He will be assisted by Battle of the Bastards director Miguel Sapochnik. Thus, the two will take over the duties of D.B. Weiss and David Benioff, who are the focus of criticism after the Season 8 fiasco. Most importantly, fans can look forward to the return of composer Ramin Djawadi, who famously composed the music for Game of Thrones. The first season will include 10 episodes, although nothing is known about the overall length so far. The budget has also not been disclosed. However, one episode of the last season cost an average $15 million. The series will be released in 2022, but it is not clear yet whether it will be on the first or second half of the year. Alright, that's it for our preview of House of the Dragon. What do you think? Have you been able to get over the frustration of Season 8 and are you now ready for new adventures from Westeros? Or are you still so fed up that you won't even watch the new series? We believe that at least the story offers great potential and could result in a good show as long as the creators at HBO have learned from past mistakes. Let us know what you guys have to say in the comments. It is clear, however, that this will not be the last series. In the end, there will be a total of 6 series from the Game of Thrones universe. Next project is a series about the tales of Dunk and Egg. These are stories about the Lord Commander of the Kingsguard, Lord Duncan, and Aegon Targaryen V. We are excited. See you next time.